Hello everyone. For my cherry on top project this month, I really wanted to challenge myself to just use one 12 by 12 paper pad. So this is the brand new P13 Into the Wild paper pad. I don't have any of the embellishments that are with this collection, just the paper pad. So we're going to go ahead and do some fussy cutting. The back sheet and the front sheet of a P13 paper pad has all these fun, beautiful elements that we can fussy cut. There is also one pattern paper in the pad that has like cut apart cards. So I'm going to pull those three things off first, and then I'm going to kind of pull my camera out a little bit so I can show you all of the gorgeous patterns in this paper pad. And then I'm going to go ahead and get to cutting apart those cut apart sheets and the cards. The papers in the P13 paper pad are super thick and double-sided. They're really, really good quality, fun patterns and papers. And I thought that this would be the perfect kind of collection and paper pad to use for my project today. So rewind, I fussy cut all of these fun little elements, and then I used some twinkle stickles and some morning dew Nuvo drops, and I added these to the fussy cut pieces. So the mushrooms I added the morning dew Nuvo drops to. Also the little strawberry flower centers I added the morning dew Nuvo drops to. And then I added the twinkle stickles just to the strawberries, just to add some interest, some detail. Look at that cute little snail. He's so adorable. And now we're going to go ahead and create a layout using all of these fun elements. So I chose that pattern paper right there as my background. I thought my photo worked really well right there in the center. And then I also am going to choose a couple patterns to go ahead and back my photo with. And I'm actually going to go ahead and just grab that one pattern paper, because these pattern papers are double-sided, and I thought both sides would work really well for this, and that would be all that we would need. I'm also going to go ahead and use two of the cut-apart pieces from that cut-apart sheet, that one and the frame one. I thought those would look really nice to accent my photograph. I'm going to trim down the frame cut-apart piece, and I'm also going to take off the branding strips. These papers are, they all have branding strips on them. And the gum area that kind of connects them all together as a paper pad is located on the branding strip, not on the top of the paper. So if the gum catches or you rip a paper, it isn't going to hurt the pattern. It's just going to hurt the branding strips, which I think is ingenious. So I cut 3 of the sides of the frame, and now I'm coming in and I'm going to fussy cut around those cute little butterflies. Then I have this 4x4 card. I'm actually going to cut it down a little bit. I'm going to use it to act as my title, but then those little offcut pieces that are just the wood grain, I'm going to use that on my layout as well. So yeah, I went ahead and put my trimmer down and then realized that I really did actually need to mat my photograph with this paper too. So I really love both sides of this printed sheet. I am going to cut this one up, but you can see that kind of printed section right there, which is so cool, and that will be used on a future layout. I am taking some Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink, and I am inking the edges of everything. I am also going to go ahead and mat my photograph with both this kind of it's kind of like cream and charcoal pattern paper, as well as that dark green tone-on-tone pattern paper as well. And I'm going to go ahead and use this foam tape to pop up my photograph. So I have my photograph and it's matted on that charcoal and cream paper. And then I'm going to pop it up and I'm going to create a wider mat with the foam tape between to give my photograph a little bit of dimension, because we're going to put lots of fun little clusters together, and I wanted to make sure that my photo kept its pride of place. For these little wood grain offcuts, I'm going to tear them and then ink them both using my Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink. They're going to go kind of over the little clusters that are printed on this page, and then they're going to provide me with a little shelf that I can use to add things to. Things like those mushrooms and the strawberries and some of these cute little critters. They're just going to add as a landing spot for those other elements. Next, I cut that 4x6 card that was a frame. I cut it in half. And then I am going to place half on one side of my photo, half on the other, and I'm going to add that little piece that's going to act as my title piece. So let's talk about this collection. The colors initially may appear to be very fall. We've got lots of oranges and greens, reds from the mushrooms, and those kinds of colors and feel, but the elements in this collection are not necessarily fall themed. So we have things like strawberries and little woodland creatures and those really pretty white flowers from the strawberries. So the photo I'm scrapbooking today was actually taken in April, and it has that kind of warm wood grain colorway to it, but it definitely is not a fall photograph, which I felt would be so perfect for this collection because strawberries do not bloom in the fall. And I felt like this collection, it really does kind of span many different seasons if you want it to. And I did. Today's photograph is just a cute photograph of my dog. I, every so often, when I'm creating my scrapbooks or scrapbooking over the year, I always try to put maybe a lot of photographs on my pages or to add lots of journaling, especially for 2024. But I always love a nice kind of just artistic, fun page put together. And that's what this is. This is just a cute, adorable, sweet picture of my dog, who is my constant companion and by my side. If I am home, he is with me. And so I felt like the icons in this collection worked well for something that was like springtime, and the colors worked well for the colors in my photos, all those deeper, darker kind of wood tones and warm colors. So I'm just going through and I am clustering up all of these fun little pieces onto my page. Here is how I create my clusters. I always use the same mnemonic in my head, and that is this: let's make some clusters. And here is what this means. Start with your largest pieces. Put them right onto your page. Start with the big ones, the big elements. Then add your medium clusters. So in this case, the large cluster is that large floral piece. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my little squirrel. And then I decided we needed some small clusters, and that's going to be those 2 flowers. Now, because of the way you have things kind of interacting with each other. That doesn't necessarily mean that that is the order in which you put them down, but that's the order in which you plan your cluster. Large pieces, medium pieces, small pieces. Then look at your cluster, and whatever piece is on the top or whatever piece is the focal point of your cluster. In this case, it's the squirrel. In the bottom one, it's the hedgehog. That one needs a little bit more dimension, so add some foam tape to that. Here again, my large pieces, my back pieces, the pieces I want to cover up, those are the ones I place first. They are not necessarily the ones I glue down first, but they are definitely the ones that I put onto the page first. Then add the medium or the accent elements. Finally, look for open spaces or things that aren't touching. That's what you want to do. Those are the things. That's where you want to tuck in your small clusters or your small elements. So there's a little mnemonic for you. Let's make some clusters. But wait, what does the C stand for? Well, we're going to get to that in just a minute. But another thing I do want to point out here is that all of the elements in your clusters should touch. We don't want things flying around into the air. We like things to touch and overlap, and that's what really makes a cluster amazing, when it looks like things are interacting. Now, I did a little cheat on this page because the background or my main base for the clusters on this page was printed right on the paper. Take advantage of that. These amazing page designers, paper designers, they are absolutely sharing their artistry with you when they create these pre-printed pages. They're giving you a little bit of a jumping off point to add your own spin to it. And that is what I did for my page today. Now let's talk about that C. So let's make some clusters. What does the C stand for? The C stands for confetti. Confetti is any of your last minute details. I'm going to use sequins for today's layout, but it can be enamel dots, it can be Nuvo drops, it can be gems, it can be tiny stickers, little puffy stickers, anything that accents your layout. I personally enjoy sequins because they are sparkly. They come in lots and lots and lots of sizes. Like, you get one mix and you get lots of different sizes in that mix. I also enjoy sequins because you can do these gorgeous little glittery clusters and you don't run out, right? Enamel dots, I feel like you run out of those quite quickly, but sequins last way longer. So I'm just going to go ahead. I am using a Gina K pick and stick tool, and I am just scattering those sequins. I have a Nuvo Deluxe adhesive with the precision nozzle on, which is just going to give me the tiniest little drop of glue, perfect for sequins. And here is my project for you today. All done and beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have enjoyed today's project and video, and I hope that this showed you one way that you can really stretch one paper pad and create something beautiful with it. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.